I want to call to the stage the former CEO of Moët Hennessy, Christophe Navarre. Christophe led Moët Hennessy for more than 15 years, which is a very long tenure in any business. But what is fascinating is that during that time, he was really able to expand and shape global wine and spirits industries. Today, he still sits on many boards, and he is one of the world's best thinkers, I find, when it comes to luxury and premium brands. Christophe, please join me on stage. So good to have you. Please, grab a seat.
Thank you.
So, when we were discussing about having this conversation, we started talking, and Christophe and I share a common friend, Paul Walsh, who used to be the CEO of Diageo when you were running Moët Hennessy. We have a spirits business together, and I take his wisdom a lot. Having run Diageo, it's interesting how the industry is a small village.
Absolutely.
But what I want to do is go a step back and start a little bit from the beginning, because brand, luxury, spirits, very few people actually get it right. So I want to go back and look at your tenure when you were there. What were the most critical leadership decisions that you took that really shaped the brand?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that I was during 5 years president of Hennessy. Hennessy, it's cognac, and cognac, nobody knows that generate 1 billion EBITDA a few years ago, which means that it's a big chunk that we don't know in Europe because we expand internationally. I will answer to your question. I think what's important is for a CEO, that's his role, is to, and we mentioned that this morning, planification. You plan if you have a vision. And a vision, you would define it with your team, with your knowledge, your experience, and by the way, with some, I would say, entrepreneurship attitude. And we were doing quite well in Europe and Japan, but we need to think about the future, 5 years, 10 years down the road. And we decided, and I decided to take some money out of Europe and Japan was declining drastically, to take the opportunity of the entry of China in WTO and to invest slowly and then massively in China. And just after taking the opportunity of United States, which is the biggest market for wine and spirit in the world. And we moved the company from $500 million profit to 1.8, 1.7 billion profit. Again, it's consistency, vision, action plan, implementation, and people. People, money we had, brands we had, people, it's always a challenge.
The next question, which is interesting, we live in a world that's constantly evolving, and a lot is happening also in the spirits industry. We're seeing major shifts as the next generation comes, different preferences, and these are not just on social media, but they're actual consumer values, preferences about alcohol. How do you see luxury brands in spirits evolving to take into consideration these shifts?
That's a very important question at a very important moment, because if you look to the performance of the wine and spirit company, they are not good. There are reasons for that. We can say, okay, there is a shift in consumption. I live in Monaco, but a part of my time in the US. When I see the young generation, there are some people who decide not to drink, that shows, no problem, to drink differently, cocktail, more than wine, more than beer, more than spirits. And I will not tell you that the difficulty of the industry is due to that. That's a shift, and that's the role of the industry to tackle that. You can introduce new brand, new product, non-alcohol brands, what the brewers did, what some spirit company do with non-alcoholic cocktail, etc., etc. But I think the biggest mistake of the industry, particularly on the top hand, on the luxury part of the industry, is they've managed very, very badly a very important element of the marketing mix, which is price. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. And I left now 8 years ago, and I told to some of my friends, hey guys, price is like drug. It's easy because then you increase the margin, but for luxury product, it's true for all the product, but particularly for luxury product, you increase the price, and there is an impact on the top lines, on the volume. And if you look to champagne. Now, I'm completely free to say what I want, but champagne is too expensive. And I will not name some brand that I manage, I develop in the world. It's too expensive. And the consumer is moving, and is shifting. So I think it's important, look to the wine, the French wine, the primeurs in Bordeaux, they decrease the price. Is that enough? No. And by the way, you have competition. So, and you must be ready to lose some business to be sure that you manage your brand on the right way, which is very important for a luxury brand. And I use the opportunity to define what should be a luxury brand. 3 things: quality, image, and then price premium. And the price premium, for me, not more than 20%, max, than the competition. Usually between, let's say, 10%. But if you go up, there is a moment you decline. Look to the car industry, not talking about the Chinese car. Today, everybody is laughing. They will take a massive market share in the next future, not only in the mainstream.
So it's interesting what you say, because we've experienced that in Brockmans when we started growing the brand internationally. Scaling internationally is not as easy as people think. And I want to get your input in terms of how do you believe somebody can do that whilst preserving heritage, which is very important for a brand, craftsmanship, and critically, which I think many brands lose, their authenticity.
Yeah. That's a quick question. And that's a quick question for the future for the big luxury brands. First, in luxury brand, we always talk about culture. Luxury brands, today, some people believe it's only France, only Italy, because it's history. But culture is not only Europe. And if you look now what's happening in China, and I must say that in Europe and the United States, they don't get the opportunity of China because they don't know really their culture. There is a strong culture in China, so I'm absolutely convinced that we will have luxury brands in China. And by the way, it's happening in jewelry now, and at very competitive price, and I will answer to your question more precisely, but the Chinese ladies are buying Chinese jewelry because it's value for money, less expensive. Naturally, you have not a big brands, but that's another debate, because sometimes some people do not want to stay with big brands. But the key question is DNA. That's important to respect the DNA of the brand. If you don't do that, you will lose the brand value, the brand equity. But I strongly believe, and we did it with Hennessy, we did it with a little less with Dom Pérignon, that you must think global, but act local. With Hennessy, we act local with the US market, and from a market of 500,000 cases, we moved to 5 million cases, which is a lot of money.
Wow.
But culture is absolutely key in luxury. Personally, I don't believe, and I know I will shock some people in the industry, that if you have craftsmanship in some places, you cannot produce the brand in a different country, because it's not the same. Italian way is not the Korean way, not to be more precise.
I agree. Let's look at your journey after moving away from CEO to investor and board member. How has your perspective on value creation and risk, has it changed?
I will not criticize corporate life because I spent a lot of time. It was really a fantastic journey, and I love my shareholders and the team. It's fantastic to manage big teams. But it's like, you know, I remember in the army, the first time you jump from an aircraft, not opening the parachute, it's the free fall, we call that. When you leave corporate life and you go to entrepreneurship, it's exactly the same. Day after, no salary, no bonus, nothing, zero. So we mean it's really a free fall. But it's amazing because the huge difference is a real entrepreneur is really risking his own money. And that's very exciting. And I must say that, and somebody told it just a few minutes ago, a few hours ago, we have failures, we have success. What's important is to have one major success to cover the small failures. But I think you simply want to do it. There are a lot of people who are not built for that. We have decided that when I will be close to 60, I will live the corporate life and do something and try to do something. And I must say it was not always easy, but it's so exciting, so exciting.
I love to see that you carry that youth in you and desire to keep going and creative.
Yeah.
And that for me is the biggest takeaway. I have one last question, which always I like to ask, and it's when we look at the next generation, because you're very accomplished, and many people might not be in the spirits industry, but watching what you were doing, I was blown away. So I must admit, one day I hope to be like you.
Oh, no,
but
thank you.
when I look at this next generation of CEOs, and particularly these CEOs that are going into leading premium and luxury businesses, and I'm opening that to not just alcohol, but luxury businesses. What advice would you give them in a world that is increasingly volatile? You know, and volatile not only in tech, but in tariffs, in so many moving parts.
Yeah. I will say daring, dare, build good team. Work is everything. I don't believe in this world where you know, staying home, working with the computer and all this stuff. Yeah, sometimes it works, but it's a joke. It's a complete joke. I think that a CEO must have a vision. If he has no vision, he's not a CEO. He's not CEO material. Second, he must build the right team, the capabilities. And you know, human, and I believe in technology, and AI is the new things, but before that it was blockchain, before that internet, etc., etc. And it's fantastic. It's a huge opportunity, but cool down. The most important thing in a company is people, capabilities, entrepreneurship. And I think that the quality, and today we have a CEO who enjoyed 10 years of good time, easy results, and now they are under panic. I have in some of my startup CEO who came to me, nice people, I don't know how to do. You ask me to cut costs, to adapt, but I only manage growth. You know, it's going up and down and down. So to conclude, I will say somebody who really, but you must incentivize your team to make them happy with this approach. Manage the company like your own company. That's and people make the difference. And to make great things, you must love people, and that's the problem today. People are, and you know, I'm and I will conclude in saying that I'm still in one or two boards. Jesus Christ, with compliance, all these things, etc. That's a complete excuse not to deliver. So the only benchmark is cash generation, EBITDA, and good teams. That's the only parameter, the three. The third one is more difficult to measure. But EBITDA, cash, that's the king of the road.
Christophe, I really thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
For
Pleasure.
sharing so graciously. I hope that this is a conversation that we will continue, because there's so many things to share. Thank you for being with us here at Davos this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was impressive. Let's have a quick picture.